Good morning, everyone. My name is Vishal Seni, and I'm an instructor at AP2V Solution. And I would like to welcome you to the introduction of Red Hat OpenStack course curriculum. Right. Before give you any sort of introductions with respect to the course, let me introduce myself. Uh, I've been working into IT industry for almost 10 plus years now, and basically into the cloud computing solution for almost 5 years, 6 years in fact. I started delivering the training on OpenStack when it was, it was launched in the Red Hat training portfolio in 2014. And from then onwards, I have delivered this training for lots of corporates, which includes Ericsson, Nokia's, the telco background, telco giants we are talking about. Uh, I've been certified on OpenStack. I'm certified on AWS. I'm certified on Azure. So you can quote unquote call me as a cloud consultant as well, right? Apart from all these, I've been working into the DevOps portfolio as well. So Kubernetes, Ansible, Puppet, Docker is something which is basically my area of expertise. Uh, Now, coming back to this course, when you're talking about Red Hat OpenStack, OpenStack is basically an open source cloud computing software, right? And because it's open source, there are lots of corporates who actually download the code and create their own version of OpenStack. So it's not like that you'll be able to find only a single version of OpenStack in the market. There are multiple providers who are offering the OpenStack services to you. Red Hat is one of them, right? And their product is very mature. First thing first. Second, they have a very good market base. Because of that, again, the companies are believing on the Red Hat products, and that's the reason why Red Hat OpenStack is one of the most popular OpenStack training and certification product in the market, right? So when you're talking about this course is basically divided into two modules, right? In fact, there are three modules. The last module is very old one, right? It depends. It is basically based upon a very older version. So we have the two latest versions of courses modules which we can cover up. So if I may, I'll just give you an idea what exactly it is. So you have CL110, you got CL210, and we have CL310 as well, right? So CL110 is basically what you call core operations for the cloud operator. CL210 is basically what you call the infrastructure configuration for cloud administrator, right? And when you're talking about CL310, this is basically Red Hat OpenStack administration in networking, and you cover up the basics of NFV, the basic or the foundation of NFVs, right? So it's the name is basically Red Hat OpenStack version 3, which is networking and foundations of NFV, right? So these are the three different modules which you can go for if in case you want to train yourself inside Red Hat OpenStack. Like once you cover up these two training tracks, you can write an exam known as EX210. Right. So when you're talking about EX210, right? EX210 is Red Hat OpenStack certification. So you're talking about Red Hat certified system administrator in Red Hat OpenStack. That's what EX210 is all about, right? And if you write the paper after CL310, you'll be certified as a Red Hat certified engineer in Red Hat OpenStack, right? So with these three books, you have two certifications which you can write as per your own requirement. Right. So if you talk about the 110, let me just give you a basic idea of what exactly you have to cover up in 110. This course is basically designed for the system administrator who actually are trying to learn OpenStack, right? You do not have to worry about the administration part at that particular time, right? How exactly the things are happening under the hood. Majority of the time in this track, you are going to cover up the features or the functionalities of the OpenStack cloud. Right. So if OpenStack is offering something to you, you just have to use it, nothing else. Right. So this entire OpenStack training is based upon Red Hat OpenStack Platform 13. We may have an advanced version of Red Hat OpenStack releasing for learning purposes. I'm not pretty much sure whether that will be happening this year or not, but we have a certain future aspect on that eventually it will be released. So this CL110, right? So CL110, as I told you, this is basically for the administrators or the end users who are going to use the OpenStack. right? So that's what CL110 is all about. You got CL210, right? So CL210 is basically for the administrator purposes, right? So if you talk about this course content, right? So CL110, just give me a sec here. Right, so you're talking about CL110. The total number of chapters in this particular book is 14. The last one is just for the practice purposes. So you have 13 chapters to cover up, which tells you about the features of OpenStack, right? So you start off with the theoretical session of what exactly an OpenStack is, right? And eventually how to launch an instance, right? Irrespective to any prior knowledge to yourself, right? You do not have anything. They're just telling you the basics of how to create an instance, telling you how easy it is to basically get the instance launch inside OpenStack, right? So that's first chapter. Second is all about authentication and authorization inside the machine. Again, as I was telling you, this course is not for something which you have to understand with respect to how exactly the things are happening. This is more like, okay, fine, the things are happening, it's good, right? These are the features, perfectly fine. How they are happening is something which you have to cover up in the second book. Third is theory, which is describing cloud computing. In this particular chapter, you're gonna again learn about the differences between the traditional solutions and the cloud computing infrastructure. We'll be talking about a bit of containerization as well in this, because now majority of the applications are cloud native applications, which is basically running the applications in the form of a container. On chapter number 4, you'll be talking about managing Linux networking, the basics of Linux networking, right? What actually Linux Ethernet cards are, what are bridges, what are switches, right? What the virtual switches are all about, how does kernel behaves on that, IP addresses, routing, subnetting is everything which we are going to cover up in chapter number 4. Chapter number 5 is preparing to deploy an instance. Gives you an idea what all things is required to get your instance launched and how to create those resources, right? So that's chapter number 5. Once those resources are ready for you, how to deploy the instance is chapter number 6. Chapter number 7 and 8 is all about two different types of storages which are available in the OpenStack cloud. The first one is block storage, the second one is object storage. So we are going to cover up those two types of storages. The next one is preparing to deploy an instance with a public access and deploying an instance with the public. So here again, you have to create the resources. And chapter number 10 is all about how to get that instance launched, right? So public access का मतलब है कि it has to be accessible from outside world. So how exactly they have to be done is something which we have to cover up in these two chapters. Chapter number 11 is customization of instance. Small topic. How can you, it's like pre-installation setups, if in case you want to customize your instance so that it looks like the same situation which you want. So that's something which we are going to cover up in chapter 11. 12 is deploying scalable stacks, a very important topic. This is where we are going to talk about the scalability of cloud computing solution. We'll be learning about heat in this. Chapter number 13 is understanding triple O concept. So chapter number 13 of this book and first chapter of the next book is all what you have to cover up with respect to the understanding of what exactly